Well, the hostages released from Gaza are telling stories of horror and also stories of hope. The former captives and their families take great joy in being reunited on their long road to recovery. One Israeli-American father spoke with CBN's Julie Stahl about the incredible feeling of having his son back in his arms.
After 498 days in Gaza, freed hostage Sagui Dekel-Chen gained his release from Hamas captors. His father, Jonathan Dekel-Chen, tells CBN News it was like a rebirth.
There's the before and after. It was a living hell every day from October 7, 2023 until February 14th when he was finally released. And since then, it's like having a newborn 36-year-old son who had his, launch on that day and now is a little under 4 weeks old. It's a crazy concept, but that's how I'm experiencing it.
And I bet you still want to hold him in your arms, right?
I barely let him out of my sight.
Yes, yes.
But I compete with his wife and 3 little girls.
That's because following Sagui's release, the new father got to meet his now 15-month-old daughter, Shachar, for the first time. When Hamas terrorists abducted Sagui while defending his community of Nir Oz, his pregnant wife, Avital, and 2 daughters, Bari and Gali, remained safely hidden in their home.
Sagui was taken hostage. He, at the time, was wounded. He arrived in Khan Yunis, in the Gaza town right across the border, at around noontime. From there, he was taken to a hospital in Khan Yunis where his wounds were initially treated.
Just days after the kidnapping, CBN News spoke with Dekel-Chen, who didn't know the fate of his son. Only after 2 months, following the first hostage release, did he hear reports that his son Sagui remained alive. They would not receive official confirmation until February 2025.
We didn't have a positive proof of life until he walked out on his own 2 feet of that Hamas minivan at the meeting point where the Red Cross picked them up in Khan Yunis.
Dekel-Chen says his son spent most of those 16 months underground in Hamas tunnels.
For the duration of those 498 days, he saw no sunlight. That alone to the human body takes a toll. There was very little, if any, medical care given. And we know that there are even people from our kibbutz who died as a result of lack of proper medical care, constant malnutrition, if not starvation.
Even in the dark, Sagui remained aware of his time in captivity.
Sagui figured out that the 498 days that he was in captivity equates to 43 million seconds, and he felt every one of them.
Founded in 1955, Nir Oz had around 400 members, making it like a big family. Some 47 died during the invasion.
79 were taken hostage from Kibbutz Nir Oz out of the initial 240 hostages who were taken by Hamas and other terrorist groups. Kibbutz Nir Oz was ground zero for the massacre on October 7th and the hostage taking.
About 80% of the remaining Nir Oz residents now live in the southern city of Kiryat Gat. The highest priority is to see the return of the hostages and then deal with the future of their kibbutz.
Our home's completely destroyed. Kibbutz Nir Oz is uninhabitable. But we can't even begin the mourning process and the recovery process until those 14 people are back home amongst the 59. I think at that point we'll begin to formulate what next steps are. For Sagui, there's a recovery and rehabilitation process that he's going to have to go through that's going to take some time.
About half of the surviving community are expected to return and rebuild, while others, including the Dekel-Chen family, will not.
30+% want to go as a community, this is mostly the young families, want to go together to live in a different kibbutz that's not across the border from Gaza.
Dekel-Chen still sees a positive side.
The experiences of the last 16 months have given me a kind of renewed faith in the people of Israel and their supporters around the globe of many different religions. As I mentioned before, we've been embraced by the vast majority of Israelis in the diaspora and by certainly Christian communities everywhere I've gone.
Beyond that, he reflects on miracles that happened in the middle of the horrors.
We can't explain the little miracles that happened within that life-changing experience, other than something that's more faith-based. The terrorists and the looters left about an hour before the first soldier arrived on the kibbutz, or 40 minutes, I believe is the exact number. We don't know why they left, the terrorists and the looters. Had they stayed longer, they would have killed more and raped more and looted more and kidnapped more. My daughter, her family, Sagui's wife and their daughters could very well have been murdered or kidnapped in those 40 minutes.
What do you think needs to happen in Gaza?
There will never be peace in our region, perhaps beyond, as long as Hamas, or a Hamas-like organization, it continues to rule. Through the world community, its generosity and its seriousness about creating a post-Hamas Gaza, these people have to be given, the millions who live there, they're not going anywhere. So the millions who live there have to be given something that they don't want to lose, something good that they don't want to lose. And maybe then we can all have a better future, because going back to what was serves no one.
Julie Stahl, CBN News, Kiryat Gat, Israel.
Stories that are giving us all hope, and there is hope. But let's continue to pray. There's still hostages being held in tunnels right now in Gaza. It just is mind-boggling to me that Hamas wants to hold on to them, that they don't realize they're completely defeated. There's no hope they could ever win this, and why they want to hold on to them is a mystery to me. But let's continue to pray. Let's continue to believe that they can come home, and once again we can have peace in the region. But as long as that ideology is there, it seems to be driving everything coming out of whether it's Hezbollah or Iran or Turkey, and now what has been the long-standing goal of Hamas to wipe Israel off the map. Until they give up that ideology and realize that's not a future for themselves, for their children, for their grandchildren, peace, peace, and there is no peace as long as that's there.
Are miracles real? Let's investigate.
A lot of skeptics will say, well, miracles are impossible. Why? Because they violate the laws of nature. You can't violate the laws of nature.
I looked at my hand that was clutched. I said, hand move.
We got to 2125. Hallelujah! Been totally blind.
He's dead. It's over. I said, shock him one more time.